Our program is Mistra Environmental Communication. And by environmental communication, we mean more than just the transmission of information. We refer to how people in interaction with each other make sense of environmental and sustainability issues. And we are hoping that our program will change environmental communication practice and policy. And I'll list 3 of the points that we find particularly important. The first one is that we go beyond looking at the effectiveness of information campaigns and take also into account how communication about sustainability issues works to create the world that we live in. Second, that we take disagreements and conflicts seriously and recognize them, understand them, and address them in a constructive way. And the third one, that we appreciate that there are different views on what sustainability is and different views on how important it is.
Yes, and who are we then? Well, the program includes a range of very diverse participants from universities, NGOs, governmental organizations, and business, but also actors like museums and artists, and all with a shared interest in environmental communication.
The work that we've been doing so far tells us that it's really important now, as Sweden is working towards a green recovery in the wake of the corona crisis, to think through an integrated vision for a green society, not only in environmental, but also in economic and social terms. So how would a more sustainable society really look like? And I want to pick out 2 aspects of our work there. First, for example, our colleague Lars Hallgren and his team are analyzing communication in sustainable consumption campaigns. And many of these campaigns try to get people to consume less. And that's exactly what's recently happened. But if we look at the way how consumption has been reduced in the wake of the crisis, that's causing huge problems for the economy as it stands. So we need to change economic structures first to be able to really reduce consumption. How would these economic structures look like to be able to cope with this? And the second point that I want to make there is that we see now, looking at corona-related communication between governmental actors and the public in different countries, that public pressure and resistance to restrictions and rules can be very, very powerful. And we argue that we need to take the diversity of people's perspectives seriously to work towards a greener society that's also socially sustainable. And communication is at the heart of all of this.
Well, the first step is really to come to an integrated vision of a greener society, one that is also economically and socially sustainable. Not just quick fixes that support certain industries or that reduce pressure from certain groups of the population, but that then don't address the more systemic challenges that we face. At the same time, and this is also important and has been argued by some of the colleagues in our team, Martin Westin and Sophie Josse, we need to consider how we balance the need for expert information with democratic decision-making and people's desire to have a say and have their voices heard. We've already mentioned the need for taking a diversity of people's perspectives seriously, but we actually think we need to go beyond that. A green recovery or a sustainable society calls for at least 3 things. A, getting on board a wide range of actors in critical and reflexive communication. B, taking these actors seriously, not only as consumers, but as citizens. And C, shifting focus from the individual to the systems level. Systemic changes are needed to create new frameworks of possibilities for actors, for all of us in our roles, to transform and live sustainably.
So communication about environmental and sustainability issues is critical and change-oriented, but also more inclusive and socially legitimized. And this has contributed to Sweden being a much more sustainable society.